I ran a workshop yesterday on managing your thoughts and emotions. And throughout the day, I coached several people on things like fixing their marriage, developing a healthier relationship with food and body image, changing careers, even though they didn't know what they wanted to do, and how to love yourself enough to put yourself back in the dating scene. And it occurred to me that every person had the same problem, which wasn't the problem they thought they had. Confused? Don't worry, I'm going to explain it all. So grab your coffee and let's dive right in. The problem isn't the problem, it's your attitude to the problem that's the problem. A profoundly true statement from Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. And I want you to hold that thought in mind as I go through this podcast with you today. So let's revisit the workshop. Now, at the beginning of the workshop, I took the participants through the model, which, as you probably know by now, is my favorite coaching tool. And I actually have a free training for you on Eventbrite on Thursday night. I'm going to give you more details about that at the end. So I'm taking them through the model, and I asked each of them to run a model on an area of their life they wanted to change, or a goal they had but were having trouble reaching it. Because it depends where you come from. Like, some people see it as a goal. Some people will just initially see, like, I want to change this area of my life, and both are okay. So just sit with that. Now, they believed that their problem was the job and not knowing how to change it, the relationship and not knowing how to fix it, the weight and not knowing what to do differently, the search for a soulmate and not seeing how that can happen. And so it would be safe to assume that when you're struggling to create change, it's because you don't know the how, or that you haven't found the right how yet. And there's a tendency towards knowledge and information being the missing ingredient to massive change. But we have an infinite supply of both of those things at the end of our fingertips with search engines and social media. We can literally learn how to do and change or achieve anything for free if we really wanted to. So 9 times out of 10, information and knowledge is not the problem. So then we go to, okay, so it must be my thoughts, right? You don't have the right thoughts, you have limiting beliefs, you don't know how to think. And to some degree, yes, this is absolutely true. And if you go back and listen to last week's episode on why mindset might actually be the problem, you'll get a much better perspective on that. So please go listen. So changing how you think 100% does change your results. In fact, for me, coaching really is about helping my clients to make new and powerful decisions from a place of elevated and expanded thinking based on what they want versus where they are. And thinking is the precursor to action. So let me just put that into a place where that'll make total sense to you. So if you think you're tired, you might skip your workout. If you think you're tired and that moving your physical body will help you, you'll probably do the workout. If you think your partner is judging you, you might walk out and slam the door. If you think that you might be feeling judgment because you're judging yourself, you might open the door to a conversation. If you think that no one wants to buy your product or service, you might decide not to post on social media today. But if you think that one person, someone really needs your help today, you might show up and speak to that one person. So yes, thinking is a creative force. But here's the but. When I see people not making change, creating the same results for themselves over and again, it's almost always because of their strong desire to avoid emotional discomfort. You see, in the model, I show you exactly how thoughts, feelings, and actions are intertwined in creating your results. That's why I'm doing a free workshop on it, because it is so powerful to have a level of that understanding. And when you want to change your life, when you want to set and hit goals, you have to leave one thing behind. And that is the certainty of where you are. That applies to every single one of us, no matter how big or small the goal, no matter how big or small the change, which of course is all relative and subjective. But when you want to create something new, you have to leave behind the certainty of where you are. Even if you are unhappy and unfulfilled where you are, your brain does have certainty. And there is emotional comfort for you in that. Your brain knows what to expect. Nothing new is happening here. There's no more difficult emotions to feel. And it's not your brain that hates feeling that way. It's your soul that hates feeling that way. Your brain is survival driven. It does not care if you are happy. Please listen to the last podcast episode. The minute your brain feels unsafe, which can be triggered at the sniff of uncertainty, at the sniff of change, it will literally try and close you down. It will give you thoughts that shut doors, that hide options, and thoughts that convince you why you are better off where you are. It is emotional certainty that is holding you back from the results, the goals, and the life that you want. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of that. So I developed a fear of flying many, many years ago on a particularly turbulent flight from Boston back to the UK. And that fear of flying stayed with me. Now in 2018, and I did fly, you know, as I got married and I went on my honeymoon, I did a fear of flying course and all that, but the fear of flying remained. And I managed to avoid flying for at least another, I don't know, I think it was 10 years or something. And then I got the opportunity to go get my coaching certification in Arizona. It's like an 11-hour flight from here. And all I could think of in my brain was, if I get over the fear of flying, it means I've got to fly, and I don't want to fly because I could die. That was literally the thought process that I had. So I could see the point of learning or getting over my fear of flying, but the thoughts that I had right now and the emotions that created, I was like, no way. If somebody really, really wants to find the love of their life and they want to go back on the dating scene, however that looks, and they know though that if they develop the self-love and the self-courage and confidence to go out there and do that, they put themselves in the space where they might get rejected, their current self can't do that. So even though they want the love, and even though they know they can see the process to it, the current self goes, but that emotional discomfort is going to be hell for you. So the you now can't imagine the version of yourself that doesn't have the stuff that you've got now. And so every change feels unsafe. And it feels so much safer to stay where we are. So what is the answer? I honestly believe that the answer to all and every change, big or small, is your willingness to feel all of the emotions. It is managing the feeling of them without making it mean anything about you, no matter where that emotion comes from. And it's also about mastering them so that they are nothing to be scared of. They are a navigational system. They are an opportunity to say, what do I need to learn? What's my next step? Like, it means nothing about you. And when I think about and put this all together, it really comes down for me to two choices. In the moment now, day in, day out, avoiding emotional discomfort, living in the same reality, and then carrying the weight of regret at some point in the future. And we all know that regret is super heavy. Or developing the emotional management and mastery now and let it be a process so you can create and live the life that you want and be proud of yourself on a daily basis for being a goddamn life warrior. Because living the life that you want isn't easy. 95% of the population are not living the exact life that they want. 95% of the population are doing what they think they should be doing. They're doing what they're being conditioned to do. They're not necessarily doing what they want to do or what lights them up, but they don't know another way yet, or they don't want to do the other way because it feels too hard. And just in going back to that process of thoughts, you can still think about, okay, I'm willing to embrace this change and I know it's going to be hard, but you get to choose how you feel about that hard. Can that hard be exciting? Can that hard be expansive? Can that hard be the thing that makes you become the person you've always really wanted to be? Like, your soul lights up at the thought of, I don't need to make this mean anything about me, but I do need to make the life that I want my priority. That rhymed. Need to write that one down, right? So when we understand that creating a new reality for ourselves isn't going to be easy, but we commit to the willingness to feel all the emotions and we manage them without making them mean anything about us, and we master them so we're not scared of them, holy crap, like, there's a whole new life available for you. But it is going to require a new version of you. It's so much less about what you're willing to do and so much more about what you're willing to feel. Certainly when you first start, like when your foot is on that start line and you're in the blocks, it needs to be that thing that pulls you and pushes you is your willingness to feel of those emotions. So ultimately, I think in my mind, certainly it comes down to one key thought. I love myself enough to make this a reality for myself. I love myself enough to feel difficult emotions that create change rather than feeling the same crappy emotions every day that are keeping me here. I love myself enough to find out what I'm really made of and what's really, truly possible for me, because I honestly, truly think that if we all really had 100% self-love, self-worth and self-acceptance, we would not settle for anything less than a life that made us feel alive and made us feel purposeful and like lit us up from the inside. And when I think about where I've held myself back in life and where I've seen people in my community or my clients holding themselves back, it always comes back to this lack of self-belief. And is it not fair to say that if we really loved ourselves, we'd have self-belief? We might not know the how, but we'd have the belief that we could figure out the how. We might not know what it looked like, but we'd have the self-belief and the self-love to know that we could manage whatever way it went, and we'd just keep changing direction. We just keep making different decisions, and we just keep going until we got the result we wanted. Is it not all possible? It comes down to self-love, and the judgments that we make about the emotions that we have come from how we feel about ourselves. Because if you're not judging yourself, you won't get so triggered when you think someone's judging you. When we feel judged, we're already judging ourselves. When we feel shame, it's because somebody's told us somewhere that thing that we did or that emotion that we have, that's a shame thought, that's a shame action. But when we come to that self-acceptance, self-knowing, self-love, self-worth, we have like a blank canvas and we get to choose. So I just want you to think about today, what does it look like for you to be willing to feel all the emotion? And if you put that into a model, which I'm going to show you in the free workshop, everything is going to change for you. So the free workshop, the first one is this Thursday, the 16th of February at 7 o'clock. Replays will be available. Goodness gracious, available. I'm going to talk you through the model. I'm going to show you the model. We're going to do some practices, and I'm going to get you on a coaching call so you can come through and work through a model with me. I'm going to be doing a series of these workshops on Eventbrite. So please come and find me on Eventbrite. Sign up for the workshop. Follow me so you can get notice of the new ones that are coming up. Because I truly, honestly, 100% believe that this tool is life-changing, and being willing to feel emotional discomfort is the biggest gift that you can give yourself in terms of creating the life that you actually want to live. So get yourself signed up for that free workshop right now, and hopefully I will see you on the Zoom on Thursday evening. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Your Rich Life podcast, and I will speak to you again next week.